doing something to someone without their consent and doing something to yourself is in the same thing. If you decide to jerk off, that's what you chose to do. If you decide to jerk somebody off without their consent, not knowing whether they're going to like it or not, you just find somebody sleeping and reject them. You know what I mean? Hey guys, it's Benedictines the Vegan. Today I'm going to be reacting. I'm not even gonna be reacting. I'm going to be responding to a video made by Ethan Bishop, where he's giving us the number one argument against antinatalism. Let's go.
What's up guys, it is Ethi, and in this video I'm going to be giving the best argument against antinatalism.
Dude, I've never had a good argument against antinatalism, so this should be interesting.
What really is the difference between continuing on your life and continuing life through creating a child?
What is really the difference between consensual sex and rape?
This may sound like, oh yeah, that's obviously like a false equivalence, but when you really think about it, what is the difference?
Okay? Yeah, what is the difference? Tell me.
Okay. So every day you have a choice to continue your life. It's not like, oh, these are the cards you're dealt and then you have to continue your life. No, continuing your life is a choice, just like how, procreating is a choice. Procreating your...
Yeah, every day you have a choice to continue your life. That is 100% true. And you also have a choice to procreate. But what you must understand is that you are not continuing your life by procreating. You are creating a new life. There's a difference.
You're deciding to create life, and when you're existing, you're choosing to create life. Every time you wake up in the day, so to speak, that is a new birth, okay?
You can call it what you want to call it.
That is like a birth of a new life, okay?
It's not like a birth of a new life. There's a difference.
It's a new beginning, right? And that's exactly
what... Yeah,
what
it is a new beginning.
Having a child is, and
no, that's not what it is. You are bringing a new being into this world, a being that wouldn't exist if you didn't bring them into this world. There's a difference, like real difference,
Everything that antinatalists claim to want to prevent, they are propagating, or at least what, most antinatalists are claiming to want to prevent. I'm not saying that this is, an argument against all antinatalist positions, but I don't think that the title is all too much of a stretch, because virtually every antinatalist position just gets trashed by this argument.
I want to hear the argument. Let's go.
But yeah, everything really that, the average antinatalist is wanting to prevent, they are propagating by existing. So,
all right.
So, there are two counter arguments to this. The, counter argument to this would be, oh, the killing of yourself, that will make people around you suffer, and suffering is bad, so we should just not kill ourselves. Well, actually, I think that you probably, if you kill yourself right now, as opposed to not killing yourself, you'd actually be preventing more.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's an internatalist that doesn't know that they're causing suffering by existing. Every internatalist knows that. Nobody is debating that. What internatalists are saying is, let's not bring more people here because we cause suffering as humans. There's a lot of suffering here. So yes, let's stop bringing more people here. I think what is actually suggesting is that internatalists should just end their lives, because they're causing suffering by existing. That's promotalism. That's not antinatalism. That's promotalism, That's a suggestion that you're making. That's not an argument against antinatalism. That's a very important thing to understand. That's not an argument against antinatalism. It's just a suggestion. Just like if you said, Benedictines, you shouldn't just be making videos online. If you're really serious about what you're doing, you should Go out and talk to people about your philosophy. Don't just make videos online. It's a suggestion. It's not an argument against what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
More suffering, okay? Think about all the suffering you'll cause, in the span of your life, okay? If you kill yourself right now, all of the suffering you'd cause later in life would be prevented because you'd obviously be dead.
Just like I'm saying, it's a suggestion. Yeah, he's suggesting that people should just end things if they want to end suffering, But antinatalism is saying, yo, let's prevent future suffering. It's not saying let's end things now. That's promotialism. You gotta, see the difference.
That this seems conducive to like negative utilitarianism or just not wanting that much suffering, because really, like, if you want to look at what some of these antinatalists are doing, especially if you are like a carnist antinatalist, and you're supporting the animal holocaust, or maybe you're buying a bunch of plastic, or just buying a bunch of clothes, as the fashion industry is very destructive to the environment. Like, if you kill yourself, there's not going to be so much suffering caused by that if you just continued living at least a.
Yeah, you're making a good argument for promotialism. I wouldn't disagree. You're making a very good argument for promotialism, but again, internationalists are saying let's stop bringing more humans. Let's stop bringing more humans, because we also recognize the fact that it's not easy to end life. So we're saying let's just not bring more humans here, because that's easy. It's much easier than ending life. You see?
A lot of these motherfuckers' lifestyles, like, no, you would cause more suffering by continuing living, okay? And if you are, like, actually serious about negative utilitarianism, basically meaning, like, you're not concerned with the maximization of well-being, like, I guess positive utilitarianism, like you could say, you're concerned with the maximum reduction of suffering, or you want no suffering at all, would that basically be the end goal of the negative utilitarian, utopia, right? Then you should really be advocating not only people not have children so that they can die out, but you should also be advocating them kill themselves so then they die out sooner, okay? Like,
yeah, promotialism.
even if you could say, like, oh yeah, if everyone just kills themselves or just starts killing themselves, that might produce more suffering. Like, I don't think that's true, at least with the application of.
But that's not necessary, is it? If we all just stopped having children, no one would have to get killed. We all know that we don't want to see, people getting killed as humans. We know as humans that we don't want to see people ending their lives. You know what I mean? We don't want to see that. So why not do what is actually easy and what is much more rational? We should just not bring more people here, because we know that this world is messed up. It's full of suffering. It's the most rational thing to do, really.
What people are doing today. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand, like, like I said, and I'm going to talk about more, like, how much suffering you really propagate. 1 week of you, for example, supporting the animal holocaust versus you killing yourself, that 1 week probably caused more suffering than, like, all of the suffering caused by you killing yourself, okay? Period.
Yeah, every internationalist knows that by continuing to exist as a collective, we will be causing suffering. As a collective, I want you to get that. If one person is just continuing to exist and talking about antinatalism, actually, they are doing something positive for our society. There are so many people that, become internationalists because they've seen other people saying that, it's not good that we continue to have children because there's so much suffering in this world. So actually, by continuing to exist, internationalists are actually doing something that is good. They're stopping harm, they're stopping future suffering. Remember, what they're really interested in is that we do not have children so that we will prevent future suffering. They're not interested in people ending their lives. That's not really what they're interested in. That's promotialism. Don't confuse the two. There are internationalists who are also promotalists, but antinatalism itself is not promotialism.
Period, okay? So, you should be advocating people kill themselves. So not only will they not, propagate suffering and the stuff that you don't want by procreating, but they'll also be preventing the things you don't want by killing themselves, okay?
Yeah, but another thing that antinatalists can do is tell people to stop having children, which is much more rational to do when you really think about it, because they will be helping people realize that it is actually wrong to have children. So when they continue to exist and talking about anti-natalism, they're actually doing the right thing, which is actually the best thing to do than just ending your life.
So, yeah, it's really imperative that you do that if you actually, are a negative utilitarian. Then again, I'm not a negative utilitarian. I'm not even an anti-natalist, okay? I think that well-being is desirable because the fulfillment of your values is desirable.
Yeah, you think that, but some people do not think that. And that is what's important to understand here. Not every person in this world is saying that this world is bad. The truth is, some people are enjoying their lives. Some people think life is great, but there are people who do not think that life is great. And that's what's important to understand. You see, you are right if you think life is great, but they're also right when they think it isn't. And they have been subjected to suffering by someone else. It was not their choice. It's like if you go and rape someone because you know that you're going to enjoy it. I mean, if they're not enjoying it, is it a good thing? And are they wrong to not be enjoying it? Are they wrong to say that, okay, what you did is really fucked up? Are they wrong?
You know, just that's, that fits the linguistic construction of what, desirability is. You have no choice in whether or not you desire that which is desirable. So that is what we should be striving towards. So I am in no way,
Yeah, you and the people that want that should be striving towards that. Those who do not want that shouldn't be striving towards that.
advocating for suicide or advocating for suicide. And the second kind of counter argument that I could think of to, this argument would basically be, yeah, we have these preferences, yeah, we have these desires that might go unfulfilled, but we have these desires, okay? We can't, these were the cards we were dealt, like I said. But again, I hate to repeat
We were
myself.
dealt these cards because someone made a choice to create us. It's not like we just found ourselves here. No, people made a choice to bring us here. That's what must be understood. You won't just doubt these cards by a mysterious force. No, people are actually making a choice every day to bring more people here.
But I think it's important to repeat, you can kill yourself. It's very easy to kill yourself, matter of fact. And I'm not advocating you kill yourself. I think that, killing yourself in the vast majority of times is immoral and should be illegal.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything about that.
But I guess that's a little bit of a discussion for another video. If you want me to make that video, sure, I'll happily do that. I did talk about that in a debate I did, which you can find on my channel. But nonetheless, yes, you have a choice to continue your life, just like how you have a choice to procreate. Okay.
Yeah, everyone has a choice to do anything in this world. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do it. You understand that? If I choose to do the most horrific thing in the world, I would have had a choice to do that. So everyone has a choice to do whatever they want. It's not like the universe is like, no, 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 you can't do that. No, it's people that create laws and like, oh, you can't do that. If you do that, you're going to get arrested. But really, you can do anything in this world. You see? That is what is true. No matter how you feel about it, it is the truth. You can literally do anything. You literally have a right to do anything that you want to do. A person can say, no, you don't have a right to do this. No, actually, you have a right to do whatever you want to do. But if you are smart, if you are compassionate, if you are a rational thinker, you will realize that some things, if you do them, you're going to cause a lot of unnecessary suffering. Is that what you want to do? Are you that fucked up? Are you that twisted that you actually want to cause unnecessary suffering? Or you'll be like, nah, I can cause suffering. I do have a right to do that, but I'm not going to cause suffering. because I'm a rational person. I think, I'm compassionate. I don't want to cause harm.
Both of them are really just as much of a choice, okay? It's not like, oh yeah, I have to continue living. No, you don't. And that was, I guess, it kind of goes with the second counter argument I'm talking about, but you could even think of this like a third argument. You don't have to.
Yeah, both of them are a choice. Just like consensual sex is a choice and is a choice.
Cause suffering, so you shouldn't have a child. Well, you don't have to cause suffering by continuing your life, or overall suffering by continuing your life, most likely.
He always brings this argument as if it's an argument against antinatalism. Like I keep on saying, it is not an argument against antinatalism. It's a suggestion.
Really. I'm just talking about the average person. I'm not saying this is entailed like I talk about, like, the suffering really isn't entailed with your life, and I think that's an argument for existence, and this is, partly why I think you should exist, is because you're not necessarily going to cause overall suffering. What would be immoral about having a child if it is conducive to fulfilling, values, or collectively? I saw a picture on Google Images when I was, looking up things about antinatalism, and it was like a snake, and it was like, showing, oh yeah, it's like a snake eating itself. It's like, oh yeah, the perpetual, cycle of suffering, right? And that's exactly what you're doing when you're existing, okay? Like I
It is true. It is true, but it is still not an argument against antinatalism. It's a suggestion that it's best to just end your life if you don't want to cause suffering. But it's a suggestion, and I don't even think it's a good suggestion. Just like I keep on saying that I think it would be much better to just talk about antinatalism, since we live in a world where people know nothing about antinatalism. A lot of people have never even thought about antinatalism. So why don't you talk about antinatalism? Tell people that, yo man, this world is really messed up. If you continue to procreate children, your children are going to suffer. And they didn't even have a choice. They didn't make a choice to be here. You are the one that made a choice for them to be here. And what's crazy is that you know how messed up this world is because you've been here. You are old enough to see what is going on in the world, but you're still making a choice to bring someone else to suffer. I mean, you might not have suffered, but you cannot guarantee that your child is not going to suffer.
I said earlier, when you're having a child, really, it's just another version of you. It's another version of you that you'll see tomorrow, that you'll see the next.
No, that's a new human. That's a new human. Your child might not, end up being anything like you. Even if you try to indoctrinate them, they might not end up being anything like you.
Day you'll see 5 years from now, however long you live, okay? So what really is the difference? What is the meaningful difference that justifies, it being immoral to procreate, but therefore it's, moral and sometimes even imperative, depending on which antinatalist you're talking about, to continue your life?
Dude, doing something to someone without their consent and doing something to yourself is in the same thing. If you decide to jerk off, that's what you chose to do. If you decide to jerk somebody off without their consent, not knowing whether they're going to like it or not, you just find somebody sleeping and reject them. You know what I mean? You see the difference? You are bringing a new conscious being that's going to experience life from its perspective, not from your perspective. You cannot experience life from the perspective of your child. You see, you're not going to see the world from the perspective of your child. You're going to continue to see the world from your own perspective. You see? So you cannot say that continuing to live and having a child is the same. Like, it's like, dude, come on.
Like, it sounds like this conflicts with just the vast majority of antinatalist views, okay?
No, they don't. You just don't understand antinatalism that well. You just don't understand these views that well, just like you did not understand this view very well. You're comparing continuing your life and having a child. You're saying that there's no difference. That's something that you should have figured out before you even made this number one argument against antinatalism.
And yeah, basically the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe and share, okay?
All right, man. Loved this video. Not a bad video. You did try to, come up with an argument against antinatalism, but it's not. I don't think it's the best argument against antinatalism. I've had better arguments. We just need to think much more deeply about the world that we're in. We need to think much more deeply about consent. Why is it important that people should consent to things? Why is it important that I do not force people to do what they do not want to do? Or I do not force them to do things that I do not know whether they want to do these things or not. You know what I mean? Is it okay for me to do something to someone if I don't know if they're going to like it or not? What happens if they end up not liking it? Is it okay for me to put a tattoo on someone because I think they might like it? What happens if they end up not liking it? You know what I mean? It's okay for me to put a tattoo on myself. There's a difference between me putting a tattoo on myself and putting a tattoo on someone without their consent. You see, I've consented to this. I've decided for myself that I'm going to have a tattoo. So that tattoo is going to be on me. It's not going to be on someone else. You see the difference? We have to think, man. As humans, we have to think. Things are not easy in this world, man. Bringing another person here is a big deal. This person has to live their lives, dude. Like, they have to live their lives because you made a choice to bring them here. So they have to suffer because you made a choice to bring them here. And you might say, yeah, there are a lot of people that here that don't mind suffering. That is true. But what about the people who actually mind suffering? You see? Just like I gave you the example of the tattoo, putting a tattoo on someone. It is possible that you might put a tattoo on someone without their consent and they actually like it. You understand that? It is possible. That doesn't mean that it was the best thing to do. No, it was actually a stupid thing to do because you didn't get their consent. But, it's possible that you put a tattoo on someone and they actually like it. But what happens if they don't? You see? That's where the problem is. The problem is you cannot get consent from someone before you bring them here. So if they end up not liking the experience, it's your motherfucking fault. Isn't that what the truth is? It is the truth and you know it. Come on. Thank you all, guys.